Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner, where today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new album from Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, that great Italian prog band that needs no introduction to people that are regular watchers of this channel. But today we're looking at their 16th studio album, Orlando Le Forme. What's it called? Orlando Le Forme dell'Amore, The Shape of Love. And it's got that famous piggy bank album cover design that they've been doing for a long, long time. And I just love Banco. What a great band they are. And today we're looking at this wonderful double album. It's the longest album they've ever done. It also comes on the heels of their 50th anniversary as a band. Let's take a brief look at Banco and their history. Everybody knows about their first three incredible albums. First two came out in 1972. Let's take a look at them, shall we? Yeah, the incredible debut album, Banco del Mutuo Soccorso. It was followed up in 1972 by their absolute masterpiece, Darwin. I absolutely love this album. It's the second greatest Italian prog album of all time. If you watched my Italian prog episode, you know who was number one. And then they followed it up with this incredible album from 1973, Io Sono Nato Libero. So good. Those three albums are really the core of what they do. Then they met with Greg Lake and they put out an English album in 75. They did a soundtrack in 76. Then they came back and did another album of regular songs, Come and Un'ultima Cena, as in The Final Supper. 1978, they did an all-instrumental album, Di Terra, which is great. And then in 79, also, they did Canto de Primavera, the songs for spring. And after that, the 80s were just not kind to this band at all. Urgentissimo from 1980 started a run of 6 absolutely putrid albums in the 80s. The first 3 had Gianni Nocenti on it. The second 3, he was already out of the band. They kind of tried to right the ship in 91 with reissues and re-recordings of their first 2 albums, Banco and Darwin. Then in 94, they put out the very ill-advised Ill 13, which I don't even know why they called it their 13th album. By my math, it's their 14th album. It was terrible. Fast forward to 2019, and the band is back without the great Giacomo. He's gone. Francesco died. He left us in 2014, I think. His replacement does a really, really great job. I got no problems with him at all. His name is Tony Delisario, and he's really, really great. The original keyboard player still here. Gianni's brother, Vittorio, still in the band. So you got Vittorio Nacenzi on keyboards, Tony D'Alessio on vocals. You've got 2 guitar players, Filippo Margigiani and Nocala Di Gia. The bass player is Marco Capozzi, and the drummer is a guy by the name of Fabio Moresco, who apparently used to be the drummer for a band called Metamorphosis, who got their name from a Banco song. So that's kind of interesting. Not only is this their 50th anniversary, but apparently this album is based on a poem by Ludovico Ariosto from 1516. This thing was written. Apparently the very first song on their very first album, Il Volo, was also taken from that poem. I know nothing about it. I've never heard it. I've never read it. So we're just going to get into the songs on this album. And yeah, there are 15 of them. This is a long album, by far their longest album. Their first true double album, Trans-Siberiana, clocked in at about 57, 58 minutes. This thing is a full 80 minutes long. It utilizes the entire length of that CD. So it is a double album. And it starts out with the Proemio, which is like a kind of a prelude, starts with the gentle piano and acoustic guitar, and then Tony's doing his singing. It's pretty good, but it leads right into the first main song, which is La Pianura Rosa. I guess that means the Red Plain. This is a great song. It's got that weird syncopated piano that makes me think of ELP. It's really up-tempo. You got the Moog in the background and that staccato piano going. Later on, as the song progresses, it does kind of make me think of Gentle Giant, but the ELP vibes keep going with timpani in the background, making me think of Carl Palmer just banging away back there. And then you've got this weird keyboard patch that Vittorio uses throughout this album. The brass patch is bizarre, but this is a great song. Second song on the album, one of the best songs on the album. Third song is Survey Orlando Adesso. Starts out with a piano, and then you get both electric and acoustic guitar, then the bass and a Moog organ come in. That's great. It's a slow-burning song with some really great melodies, but that leads right into one song that is so special on this album. It's called Non mi spaventa Puis l'amore, and it's just a straight-up tango. It is so great. Ching, 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 ching. I just want to put a rose in my mouth and start dancing around with my wife. I put that song on repeat over and over with the Spanish guitar and stuff. And then there's like an accordion kind of thing going on. 2022 is clearly the year of the accordion because so many bands have been utilizing that sound in their songs this year. It's great. And then the accordion, the guitar kind of have a little battle later on in the song. And then it ends with a frenzied piano figure that's just out of place and so cool. Next up is Non Serve Tremare. Starts out real industrial, kind of like a Nine Inch Nails kind of thing. It's just bizarre. The beat's real modern and industrial sounding. And then you get the bleeps and the glitches. Kind of makes you think of Radiohead, but you got the real far distance mic on these percussion instruments, totally making me think of Blonde Redhead. And I don't know if this is a coincidence because Blonde Redhead is two Italian brothers and a Japanese singer. So I don't know if Banco has ever listened to Blonde Redhead, but I hear it in this song for sure. It's the main section's like in 7/8 time, and then the chorus comes in and it's just really strong. Next up is a song called Le Anime Deserte del Mundo. This is a very cool song. Starts out with the piano and Tony's vocals, and then the guitar comes in with some really interesting figures with the keyboard weaving in and out of it. And then the ending is all devolved with some cool guitar work. Next up is probably the most controversial song on this album. It's La Sola Feliz, The Happy Island. Starts out feeling real breezy with the slide guitar, and then you hear these Fairlight synthesizer doing all these steel drum kind of sounds. You skiffle like drums going on, and then halfway through the song, Tony kicks in with the auto-tuned vocals that just sounds really weird and out of place, but it's really cool to hear auto-tune being used outside the purview of some awful rap music. I'm all about it. Next up is La Maldicencia, and it's kind of like a James Bond spy theme going on. It's awesome. Really cool, trippy bass line. Kind of makes me think of Gentle Giant a little bit. The timpani comes back in. It also makes me think of the best song on Trans-Siberiana, La Discesa del Treno, which I really, really like. Song ends with an arpeggiated guitar figure. Then the piano slows everything down, but it's really great. Cadera y Volare is a lot of people's favorite song on this album. It's really cool. Starts out with a string quartet, and then you get this weird, squiggly, quirky figure that just is really hard to figure out. About halfway through the song, you get some real heavy shredding from the two guitar players, and then the mandolin comes in with acoustic guitar, and then that weird brass patch comes back in that Vittorio's using. The 10th song is an instrumental. It's really up-tempo, really fun. It's terrific. And those first 10 songs on this album are the best 10 songs on the album. It actually kind of lets me down a little bit as we get past here. The 11th song is sung by an unknown female singer. I guess she's supposed to be like a stand-in for a Nina Simone type of character. It's a smoky ballad that I don't have any use for. Next up is Non Credera a la Luna, which is a bizarre song. Starts out real slow in 4/4, and then you hear the rumblings of a baritone sax in the background, or it could be a tenor sax at the absolute bottom of its register. I'm not sure, but then all all of a sudden it flips over into 6/8 time, and it's like you're listening to Abbey Road from the Beatles with that sax going in the background. It's a really cool track. Next up is the longest song on the album. It's called Moon Suite. It starts out great and it ends great, but a little soft in the middle, not 100% crazy about it. It's an 11-minute song. I wish it were like 7 or 8 minutes. I think it would have served it a lot better. But my biggest quibble about this album, if I do have one, would be the last 2 songs. I just feel like I'm a little bit ripped off here, particularly with Come e Successo che sei qui. Kind of sounds like an early Genesis. It's real pastoral. And then the final song on the album, Cosa vuol dire per sempre. Real melancholy start to the song. There's some real plaintive keyboard block chords going on. The vocals finally come in at about the 2-minute mark. And then there's these Pink Floyd guitars going on. Then the drums finally kick in at about the 3-minute mark and takes the song home in a really nice, gentle way, but it's kind of a letdown from the fireworks that went on the first 10 songs that I really, really liked. So how am I going to score this thing? It is a tough one because Trans-Siberiana had probably more highs than this one, but this one is longer, so it allows the band to stretch out. It's a bit more pastoral. It's a bit more romantic. It's a bit more leaning on the balladry side, the classical side of what these guys do, but it's a terrific album. I love this album. I'm absolutely going to be buying this on vinyl. There's no doubt about it. So what do I score this? Well, it's somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5 headphone. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and go with 4.5 headphones for this puppy. It's deserving. I've been listening to it nonstop for the last week, and it's just dynamite. So yeah, if you are in the mood for some great Italian prog, especially coming on the heels of my Italian Prog episode that we did last week, do yourself an enormous favor. Check out the new album from Banco del Mutuo Soccorso. It's their 50th anniversary. It's their 16th album, and it's one of their best. Check it out. It's on Inside Out, and if you buy the vinyl, it even comes with the CD, so you have something to listen to at home and something to listen to in the car. You just can't go wrong with Banco. What an incredible band. This album does not disappoint at all. The more you listen to it, the more those melodies start to sink in. I was slightly disappointed with it at first, the first couple go rounds, but I'm here to tell you this album is dynamite. Check it out. I love you guys. I'm Scott. 14 more days in Apple jail, and then we can start really doing some interesting things. I'm actually working on putting together a interview with the great band Evership. I will be really excited to get them here on the channel. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I will see you guys on the flip flop. Have a great week. Maybe I'll do something tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a live stream. I don't know. But anyway, peace out. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you very much.